Without further ado, let me introduce to you our first speaker, Chief Charles Werner. I mentioned that Chief Werner is Fire Chief of the Charlottesville Fire Department in Virginia. Charles Werner is a 37-year veteran of the Volunteer and Career Fire Service. He celebrated his 33rd year with the Charlottesville, Virginia Fire Department and presently serves as its Fire Chief. Chief Werner is a certified Chief Fire Officer Designate and National Fire Academy Executive Fire Officer graduate. He has received 2 life-saving awards and numerous commendations during his fire service career. He currently serves on the Charlottesville, Albemarle County, or University of Virginia Emergency Communications 911 Center Management Board and on the Board of Directors for the National Alliance for Public Safety GIS Foundation. He serves on several state and national public safety communications and leadership committees, including Vice Chair of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security SAFECOM Executive Committee, Chair of the DHS Virtual USA Executive Committee, International Association of Fire Chiefs Technology Council, Virginia Statewide Interoperability Executive Committee, and the FCC Emergency Response Interoperability Council. He is a recipient of numerous awards, including a 3-time recipient of the Virginia Governor's Award for Fire Service Excellence, the Virginia Fire Chiefs President's Award, the International Association of Fire Chiefs President's Award, and Fire Chief Magazine 2008 Career Fire Chief of the Year. He is also a nationally published author with over 70 published articles and served on the editorial advisory boards for Firehouse Magazine, Firehouse.com, and Urgent Communications. Chief Charles Werner.
Did I pay for that? After much consternation, I've been thinking about social media, and I know that some people are sitting here cringing that I'm going to say this, but I've come to the conclusion that social media is evil. It has no redeeming quality, and that public safety should be able to turn it off and turn it on as we see necessary. Let's let that resonate a little bit, let that soak. Quite the contrary. Since becoming fire chief in 2005, I have seen where there are situations that we are in situations where we're over capacity. I've seen 4 wet microbursts, which is 1 step below a tornado, with huge tree wire damage. You know what that intermingling means when you have a large tree canopy city. It means power outages, road blockages, a lot of discomfort for people that live in the community. I've been through 2 recent major snowstorms of some have never experienced before of great magnitude with similar type situations. And then more recently, an earthquake. Sorry, I don't like that thing where the ground moves under your feet. But all these things have one thing in common, is we're at a point of what I would call convergence, where we have technology, we have applications, and we have connectivity, which creates a new anomaly, both good and bad. In one perspective, I see the opportunity that if we utilize the technology correctly, if we engage the members of our community more effectively, we can create what I believe could be called a resiliency corps, similar to a citizens corps, but that would take this technology and exchange information to the community as to what would be valuable for us as public safety to be able to see. So rather than me necessarily sending resources out to do windshield surveys, driving around neighborhoods and getting damage, if I could instantaneously get information from credible people knowing what they need to do with an application that would make this an easy operation, and then geocode it in such a way that I can see this stuff geospatially, it would create a whole new situational awareness much more quickly. And I'll give you one big example. In addition to the microbursts, which we have roads down and trees, roads closed and trees down and electrical wires entangled, imagine that you're responding as a first responder to Minneapolis to a bridge collapse. Now I know when we get dispatched to calls, we are not anticipating that the entire bridge just fell. But as the conversation happened earlier this morning, in some ways, with the right engagement, I might get more information from a 13-year-old with a smartphone than some people that are trained to provide information. So now imagine if we have an engagement of our communities to provide information in such a way that we can not only receive information, increase our situational awareness, understand the impact, and be able to necessitate the responsive equipment that we need to cover the call, turn it around in a situation where you need assistance as public safety from situations that have become in a magnitude much grander than we have resources to cover. Major trees down, we might need transportation of critical medical people to a hospital during a snowstorm, etc. Reverse the crowdsourcing kind of idea to put out the call for help for people that you have already vetted in a way that creates this two-way, more synergy to recover. In other words, resiliency. I think that the other part of it is you need to be able to use these technologies in such a way that you understand it and that you can also engage when there is misinformation. You have to be ready to realize that not everybody is here to do good. Some people intently want to do harm. But there's also a challenge because we continually see new social media solutions, applications. And one of the problems that we as public safety have is we don't necessarily have the staff to continually keep up with the constant migration of new things. We've seen the continual change of applications. So what I challenge the social media companies is to work with public safety to create a portal, to create an interface that allows us as public safety to have a credentialed entry into those portals that provides the ability for us to make an entry in one location that is then shared with multiple social media formats. So it would be an interface that becomes the standard for all future applications in such a way that allows us to be proactive and already be able to engage in those applications. Additionally, for social media to work more directly with public safety in a way that we can develop the applications that will create these applications that will continue to grow. This is not something necessarily that the government needs to get into as far as establishing. It's about the private sector. It's working with social media, coming up with solutions that are mutually beneficial in a business case world that will continue to sustain itself. I think the opportunities are great for us to work with social media, to engage our communities, and be able to deal with misinformation in an effective way possible. And thanks for the opportunity from the Wilson Center to have this discussion.